Stirring the creatine with chopsticks using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your creatine. At the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am...
You're a whore.
Don't even get me going on this politics thing. Seriously, you got the fudger aiming to be conservatives on the Epstein list, but they're worried about two men, Andrew and Tristan, who were cleared of any crimes in Romania. Sounds like they're trying to distract from what the hell is really going on. Governor DeSantis says Florida does not welcome Andrew and Tristan Tate. Really? We'll see how that works out for them. If you are buying smart water for $4 a bottle, think about like how you buy water. Okay, I buy 5 gallons of water at a time, and I have a water filter here in the house. If you're buying your smart water for $4 a bottle, let me remind you something. It's not working. I love this sign that says, I tried calling the tinnitus helpline. There was no answer. It just kept ringing. That's cruel as shit, isn't it? I suffer from that, man. My ears are screaming at all times. At all times. Even the deaf ear rings. Like, what the hell? Is that like phantom pain after you lose a limb or something? I don't know. American Girl releases its first doll with hearing loss. And the comment was, wait, the other ones can hear us? Older fella says, how are you? The young man says, my pronouns are... The older guy says, you have exactly 10 seconds to get the fuck out of my house. That is pretty funny. George Washington, it's funny, Dave in Texas reminded me of this one. America has friendly relations with all countries, but entanglements with none. Wow. The nut fell far from the tree of liberty, didn't it? What the heck is going... Like, we are so entangled with everybody. Wait, what's that noise? It's George Washington spinning in his damn grave. Brrr. Come on, man. Unbelievable. Another great meme. Woman and man talking. She says, you never listen to me. You only hear what you want to hear. He says, you're right. I should buy another motorcycle. I saw something like that before, and he said, you're right. I should have another beer. Oh, my gosh. That is too funny. Here's some interesting things about our first president in the United States. George Washington believed that the United States should pursue its own self-interest, trading with other nations and forming temporary alliances when it was in its interest. Here's a list of things. Avoid violent likes and dislikes of foreign nations. Establish peace, commerce, and honest friendship with all nations. I'm telling you, we have just gone so far. Consider external alliances as temporary measures of convenience. Washington's advice against permanent alliances and entanglements has influenced American foreign policy for over a century and a half. But like I said, he's spinning in his damn grave with the headlines today. Just a quick reminder that long-distance relationships do work great as long as the four of you get along well. You're like, what? Yeah, you, her, the other guy she's planking from the dating site, and the coworker that she goes on business trips with. As long as all you guys get along, long-distance relationships can work well. A quick reminder to the guys out there that are of dating age, all the women on dating sites are spinning plates, every last planking one. So yes, guys, you are all fucking the same woman. You like Scrapple, right? But you just don't want to know how it's made. That's what the dating world is like. You enjoy dating? You enjoy the company of a pretty woman? Well, you better be used to the fact that she is seeing other guys. And what she's charging you for, she's giving away for free to someone else. Don't kid yourself.
Wake the fuck up.
Now, people ask me all the time, what do I think of Tate? I got nothing against Tate. Personally, I got nothing against Tate. I was a trusted advisor in the war room for years. Some of you that were in the war room, you remember me from there. I held a private group called the Cozy Nook, named after my kitchen here, the Cozy Nook. I discovered all good guys there. That was my experience. No bullshit, okay? But it's funny watching Manofags dick ride Tate as he comes to the United States. Listen, my sons, Andrew and Tristan, be careful of who you collab with now, especially in the American manosphere. Yes, do Joe Rogan. Yes, do Fresh and Fit. Yes, do Jake Shields. You know, the usual lineup, but ignore the usual manosphere dick riders who call you their good friend. Be careful of who you associate with. That's going to make or break your living in the United States. Thank me later. Shaving your pubes or preferring shaved pubes, to me, is kind of like pre-pedophilic. And you will not change my mind. Make big bushes great again. For any person with the gift of satire, the manosphere is the gift that keeps on giving, man. It just never stops, does it? It is just, thank God for the manosphere. It just keeps giving us material every single day. Shit you couldn't even make up on your own. Well, 1 month in and the honeymoon is over. We just got served another shit sandwich in Washington. Look at these binders full of information that everybody already knew. Just give us the fucking Epstein list, will you? Unredacted. No names blocked out. You know, it's kind of funny. I worked at a place once where everybody was fucking high. Everybody on the way to work was smoking a bowl, you know, smoking a joint. The parking lot smelled like weed. And I once said that, you know, if you did like the rapid cannabis or no, what are they? The rapid THC test, you know, where you put the swab in your mouth and put it in the thing and then it turns a certain color, like a pregnancy test, you'd lose half your employees. If they actually released the real Epstein list, half of Washington would be eliminated in 1 day. Instead, they gave us the safe list. They decided, somebody somewhere decided who was safe to reveal and who wasn't. They decided who they're going to throw under the bus and who they weren't. It's for show, my brothers, show. Lover's Guide asks, this is for men only. What's the one thing that makes you lose interest in a woman instantly? My reply was, only one thing? You know how there's boomer jokes? You know, Generation X and millennials breaking boomer balls. Here's a fact. Boomers never broke their predecessors' balls because they'd get their nose fucking flattened. The greatest generation, which is like my father and grandfather, they didn't talk much. Or should I say, they let their fists do the talking. My grandfather would have knocked my dad out cold if he gave him any lip. It didn't matter, son or not. You don't fuck with your father. You don't fuck with your elders. Something that's lacking in the younger generation. You didn't even think about it, and if you did, you only did it once. It's like touching a hot stove. If anyone ever tried to fuck with my father as I got older, they would fuck around and find out in a hurry. But times have changed. I cannot trust you. Can I? Can I trust you to protect me as I get older? I would step in between trouble and an elderly gentleman like that. Would you do that with me? Would you protect me? Would you help me as I get older? The younger generation, people younger than me, they've been raised to disrespect older people. Young men used to respect older men and protect them. Now they are completely unfucking reliable and unable to do it. Every guy that I knew growing up could fight. Everybody. If you have any skills, use them for the good. What good is your fucking BJJ if you can't protect people? If you're not willing to do that? That's what I say. My dad would say shit like, don't ever call me from jail. You know, like if you get arrested and they say you're entitled to one phone call, my father was like, don't ever call me if you're in jail. Staying in jail would have been more preferable than what would be waiting for me at home. Now, I'm not broken, damaged, or traumatized like modern bullshit parenting teaches. My dad was tough. You know why? Because life is tougher. Thank God for my father. Because of him, I can take care of myself, make money anywhere, survive and thrive anywhere. And the most important thing, have zero fear of anyone or any situation. Memes kill me. There's that split meme. It's got two frames. The top one says, honey, please wake up our son. You know, it's like a husband and wife like sleeping in bed. She's like, honey, please wake up our son. The next frame is the father talking to his son. And I put in there, date long, marry slow, divorce fast. I was reminded of a song called Happy. Anyone remember the song Happy that came out, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe? The line in this song is, I just want to be the one that makes you happy. Please. Musically, it's very beautiful. Lyrics, total beta lyrics. It's simp creating lyrics. This song castrated an entire generation of young men. So, fathers, teach your sons it's not their job to do the impossible, which is make a woman happy. Can't be done. I'm not happy. Happiness is an inside job. She must make herself happy. So, all that being said, look for a happy woman, sir. Happy, agreeable, delightful. You are not in charge of a woman's happiness. All of those qualities, happiness, agreeableness, delightful, those qualities must exist before the relationship starts. That cannot be your task to make her happy. If you're the kind of guy that wants to have a stay-at-home wife and mother, all right, cool, good for you. But it's not your job to make her happy. I will say this, I'm going to save you a shit ton of trouble with one statement. Collaborations and strategic alliances for businesses are phenomenal. Partnerships, fuck no. No more partnership. There's very few partnerships that really work long term. All right, when the honeymoon period is over with, partnerships don't work. Stick to just collabing on certain things, a little alliance on some other things, or you will learn the hard way. Just a quick reminder, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women. Blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Amen. You heard me talk about a strange coincidence. Yesterday morning, I slept in. Didn't have to get up. Had nowhere to be in the morning. And I'm like, you know what? I want to get a couple extra hours of sleep because the 2 nights before I got like 5 hours of sleep and my ass was dragging a little bit. So my sweet friend awakened, informed, and unvaxxed, which makes her even sweeter. Miriam, you guys know Miriam, she shows up in a dream, literally a dream. I never dream about people, ever. I never or rarely have people in my dreams. Usually my dreams are like a travel show, and I'm always flying. You know how Superman jumps in the air and flies? I fly in my dreams, and I love it. I have a great time. But I was perplexed in my dream because I don't have people in my dreams, and I never sleep late. 7:36 a.m., the phone rings. Guess what? At the time I was dreaming about Miriam, the phone rings, and guess what? I pick it up on my nightstand, and it's Miriam. Topic? She was facing some life-altering decisions and was at a kind of a crossroads and had some things to deal with, and she wanted to talk to me. Now, she's 2 hours away, so for her, it was 5:30 in the morning. And it was something that was on her mind, and she needed to talk. Is that a coincidence? I think not. What is it called? I have no idea, but I am willing to accept the fact that there's something going on that we don't necessarily understand in the world, in the universe. So not prioritizing America is the biggest mistake that most politicians and media professionals and social media influencers make. And it's the biggest mistake of evangelical Christians. So let's do a one-question purity test. Are you America first? Yes or no? I don't want to hear fucking Bible verses. I don't want to hear anything about our only Democratic ally here or there. Are you America first? Yes or no? It just reminded me of the Meatloaf song, Paradise by the Dashboard Lights. Remember that song? Yes or no? I asked ChatGPT, in what profession do women cheat the most? Oh boy, you ready for this one? Shit. I did not want to see this, but you know what? You can't unsee this. So if you don't want to know what professions that women have where they cheat the most, who are the biggest cheaters, then you better turn off the video right now. According to various surveys from dating sites like Ashley Madison, which caters to people seeking affairs, women in the following professions have been reported to cheat more often. Number one, medical professionals. Nurses and doctors work long, unpredictable hours, often forming close bonds with colleagues. I can attest to that. I worked in hospitals, and there's a reason why one of the most popular soap operas of all time is called General Hospital. It's nothing but drama. Number two, education. Teachers and professors, especially with the stress of work and exposure to younger, enthusiastic individuals. Number three, entrepreneurs. Women who run their own businesses have independence and flexibility, increasing the opportunities for affairs. Number four, real estate agents. Their flexible schedules and one-on-one client interactions create opportunities for secrecy. Man, have I got a story about that one. Man, it wasn't long after I was divorced. I was looking at a house, and a realtor was showing me a house, and it was a house that was staged, which, in other words, it had furniture already in it. So up in the bedroom, it looked like a couple's bedroom, bed that was made, pictures on the walls, dressers, towels hanging in the bathroom, that kind of thing, and just connect the dots there. Connect the dots. She showed me more than the house. Flight attendants and pilots. Travel and time away from home contribute to higher infidelity rates. Duh. Am I right? Although they sit there and defend themselves. Hospitality and entertainment. Women, bartenders, waitresses, actresses. I know a little bit about actresses and models. They often work late hours in social and high energy environments. Some of the most sexual people I've ever known in my life. The joke was, back when I was a commercial actor and model at one time, but if you can believe that, I actually was. Someone said, is it true that they just run around sleeping with each other? And I said, no, it's not true. Sometimes they walk. And last but not least, corporate executives and sales reps, high stress, business travel, and networking events create opportunities for infidelity. In other words, they all cheat. Someone said, married men and single women are the happiest. Question I asked ChatGPT, I heard it said that the happiest people are married men and single women. Who said this? How did they come to that conclusion? ChatGPT says the idea that the happiest people are married men and single women is often attributed to Paul Dolan, a professor, of course, a fucking academic, of behavioral science at the London School of Economics, of course, from the UK. He presented this claim in his book, Happy Ever After, Escaping the Myth of the Perfect Life, published in 2019, where he examined happiness data from the American Time Use Survey. I said, how did he reach this conclusion? Answer was, Dolan analyzed the data, which tracks how different demographic groups spend their time and rate their happiness. He found that married men reported higher happiness levels, likely because marriage provided them with structure and support. However, their well-being seemed to depend on the emotional labor and care provided by their wives. Already, it's fucking slanted, right? I wonder what his sexuality's like. Single women reported high levels of happiness and lower stress compared to married women, who often carried more household and caregiving burdens. Married women did not show the same happiness boost as married men, and in some cases, the worst mental and physical health. Well, here's the controversy and criticism, and it literally, I guess this stuff. Dolan later admitted he may have misinterpreted some of the data, particularly about married women's happiness. Other studies suggest marriage benefits both men and women, though possibly in different ways. I said, of course, another godless UK professor. I wonder what his other beliefs are. ChatGPT says, as for his personal beliefs, beyond academic research, he has criticized religion-based moral frameworks in favor of secular approaches to well-being. Bingo! $99 flip-flops? I wrote this a long time ago. Are you kidding me? My kids buy them for $2 at Old Navy and dollar stores for $1.25. So how is it that some people will pay 100 times that for flip-flops? And it's all about positioning. What if your flip-flop was a workout in a sandal? You ever see those, like the flip-flops that have like little nubs on the footbed and they have a certain arch, and it was like you lose weight while you're walking kind of thing. A workout in a sandal. If you could just walk around and lose inches. I've seen leather flip-flops, fur flip-flops, and if you think that's bad, I've seen a pair of $1,700 gold, feather, and diamond flip-flops from the jeweler H. Stern. And these weren't even the inch-losing variety, the workout variety. Dan Kennedy said, there's a person for every price and a price for every person. So let me ask you, sir, what are you selling? How can you charge more? Do you think your customers won't pay? Some will, only if it is to brag. Oh, I am reminded that I have some DVDs here. What do you have? I will send you these DVDs. They are sealed and in their boxes. First one, sealed in box, Dark Crystal, Labyrinth. Second one, the complete seasons of Fear the Walking Dead, sealed and in the box. And finally, The Walking Dead, sealed in the box, the complete 10th season. And then the last one is Leprechaun Returns, classic horror film. What do you have? I'm looking to trade up. What do you have that you want to trade me for? If you know the story of the red paperclip, you know what I'm getting at. What do you have that you want to trade me for this? I will put this in a priority mail box and send it to you. What is it worth to you? Robert E. Lee, a honorable man. I've been up to see Congress, and they do not seem to be able to do anything except eat peanuts and chew tobacco while my army is starving. You know why? Because politicians pick who will win and pick who will lose. Unfortunately, our politicians today, and they're just fucking useless. Think about it. Our politicians today decide who lives and who dies. Imagine that. Can you imagine that Congress and Senate opted out of taking the COVID shot while you had to have it to keep your job? They could opt out of it. They and their families did not have to take it. That is not gossip. That is not untrue. But some of you fucking lined up and rolled up your sleeve 5 times. Some gatherings are better left as good memories. Trying to recreate the good old days and resurrect some things reminds me of the story called The Monkey's Paw. Sometimes leave the past in the past. You'll be happier. Do you understand what I'm saying? I will tell you, if you have a Russian grocery store near you that sells fresh food, get the lamb dumplings, the fresh lamb dumplings. There's so many different ways of serving them. They're very similar to the Georgian dumplings, and you will thank me later. Democrat governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, he wears a mask to show you how serious he is about his health. He's one of RFK Jr.'s biggest critics. What? Can we have a moment of silence for every man that tried turning a hoe into a mother? There. You know, the manosphere never really figured this out. Most of your panel shows are a bunch of cackling idiots, immature fools who spend half their time playing games and talking about comic books. Half the content now just publicly lampoons men. Remember when the manosphere actually did something for men instead of make fun of them? And then the rest of the panel laughs like a bunch of fucking drunk seals. No fucking wonder that most of these guys have 20,000 or less followers, if that, after years of YouTubing. Listen, you don't let children drive a car, and you don't give irresponsible manospherians any ability to direct your life in any way when they don't have their shit together. It's like the guys that have a girlfriend and they say, my wife. Dude, it's your girlfriend. It's not your wife. That's almost as bad as calling a woman your partner. But I will say this, you must look out for one another. Look out for each other, my brothers. No one ever tells you how they're doing. This is what you do. I'll instruct you right now as a good teacher. Ask your friends when you see them, how you doing? They're always going to say, I'm good, all good. everything's good. Then you ask again, no, how are you really doing? It's the second asking of that question that gets the truth always. When that brother replies or starts a sentence with, to be honest with you, or, well, to tell you the truth, at that point, it's your job to shut up and listen to him as he talks. You know why? It could save his life. This past week was the uh, fourth year that my best friend Craig died, killed himself, fucking killed himself. He zeroed himself fucking out. And that was a life-changing event for me and my group of friends. I will tell you, it was really one of the hardest things I ever went through. And then that funeral was one of the hardest things I ever went to. You just, like, if he had cancer and the doc told him he had 6 months to live, and then it was getting worse and worse and worse, and then he offed himself. That's kind of like different. But going through life discouraged, getting friend zoned for your entire fucking adult life, and I know he needed to do the work. I know that. But he was the kind of guy where I'd say, hey man, let's go to Valley Forge Park and do a 5-mile walk. He'd say, oh, that's gay. Okay. If I said, hey, let's go to the movies, there's a good, there's a good Arnold movie that just came out. Oh, that's gay. If I said, there's a good band playing, let's go get some beers and wings and, some shots. He'd say, what time? So it's like he was wired to want to do things that wasn't good for him. And God knows I tried. God knows I tried. I can never be guilty of not trying, which is proof that you're not going to save anybody. It's not going to happen. But you know what? That shouldn't keep you from trying. Okay? But yeah, every year when February 25th comes, I think of my buddy Craig. Knew him for over 40 years. He was my best friend in college. The funniest text I ever got from a woman from years ago, and she was such a good sport, I'll tell you that. This is a woman that I should have married. Like, there's only like 2 women in my life in the past where I say, God, I should have married them. She sent me a text. She goes, good morning, George. I remember what we laughed about the night before last. I was showing you my bald spots. She had like a little thinning spot from something, I don't know, and a little divot in her hair, in her head, literally in her skull. I was showing you my bald spots and the location of the dents I have in my head, and you said it was perfectly placed like holes in a bowling ball. LOL. I was talking about like my thinning and receding hairline. She goes, yeah. She goes, I got a couple spots that aren't the thickest. And she had beautiful hair. You would never know this. I mean, I never would have known this. But she had like 3 dents in her head that were about like that, just like a little dent. And I said, oh my God, it's like a bowling ball. You could just put your, man, she was laughing at that. And I thought it was funny. I just found that text the other day. But yeah, man, that gal would have made a great wife. Would have made a great wife. Seriously. That was, I would say, one of my regrets. From 2017, the funniest tweet that I ever saw in my life. Get ready for this. Social media got 50-year-old women saying they're single because they haven't met the right guy. Well, you gonna meet him soon. His name is Jesus. I think that's pretty funny. That person must have been, like 25 years old? Isn't it funny, like when you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, you think people in their 50s and 60s are old? And the flip side of that is I look at people that are like in their 20s, 30s, and 40s and go, they're just kids. Remember, I'm only 65 from the neck up. I stand by that. 3 women die together in an accident and go to heaven. When they get there, St. Peter says, we only have one rule in heaven, don't step on the ducks. They enter heaven, and sure enough, there's ducks everywhere. It's almost impossible to not step on a duck, although they try their best to avoid it. The first woman accidentally stepped on a duck. Well, along comes St. Peter with the most unattractive, hideous man she's ever seen. St. Peter chains them together and says, your punishment for stepping on the duck is to spend eternity chained to this man. The next day, the second woman steps accidentally on a duck. Along comes St. Peter, who doesn't miss a thing. With him as another extremely unattractive man, he chains them together with the same admonishment for the first woman. The third woman observed all this, and not wanting to be chained for all eternity to an ugly man, she's very careful about where she steps. She manages to go months without stepping on any ducks. Then one day St. Peter comes up to her with the most handsome man in the world. The most handsome, beautiful man that she ever laid eyes on. He was tall, had long eyelashes, was muscular. St. Peter chains them together without saying a word. The happy woman says, "I wonder what I did to deserve being chained to you for all of eternity." The man turns to her and says, "I don't know about you, but I just stepped on a duck." That is a perfect joke. There's the setup and the punchline. Perfect. I love the technical nature of jokes. Some of the best jokes are formulaic, and you can't guess them, and then they just pop the answer on you. That was one of the most perfect jokes I've ever heard. You know, I see all these guys on social media, these idiots that want to talk about combat sports, until it's actually time to do something. And I joke around and I say, well, that's what ice picks, firearms, and black ski masks are for. Never stick around and fight. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay? Even Andrew Tate himself knows that a little piece of lead flying through the air at 2,700 feet per second can end your life just like that. So even Tate advised running in the opposite direction. Only fools fight. So I see these American idiots, these fools, fighting on American soil, you know, sucker punching each other and all this kind of stuff, and fighting over what? Israel? Are you freaking kidding me? Get the fuck out of here. Trump meeting with Putin is the real Super Bowl. I would call out sick from work just to watch every single minute. Putin is quite the diplomat, and all good leaders have this quality. Did you notice how nobody in Europe is charismatic? Nobody has authority. Nobody's a good diplomat. It's amazing. The greatest leaders in the world all respect each other. I just saw this bike. Of course, it's not released in the United States. It's the Honda CB350 RS. I call it a forever bike, probably the most comfortable riding position for anyone of any age. No wasted space, no plastics, easy to work on, will probably outlive you. Your kids will be fighting over it when you die. The Honda CB350. And a quick reminder that Alp pouches are better than Zen. Trust me on this, brother. I will never stop using Alp. And with that, finish your creatine, and I'll see you on the next Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, and reason.
This executive order is the fuck around and find out order, also known as the FAFO. This order is for everyone who fucked around and will now find out.
Hold it. This is a good one. Is everybody listening?